guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kiana, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys two different ways to hem your pants. And the first way is for pants that don't stretch, and the second way is for pants that need to be able to stretch. So the first method I'm going to be teaching you can be used for jeans or pants with no stretch. And first I want to teach you how to correctly mark your jeans. I am a professional tailor, and this is how I've marked jeans at both tailor shops that I've worked at. So I just want to teach you the secret little tricks that we do. The first step is to pull the jeans down, make sure there are no creases in the jeans. Have your client stand in front of a mirror or have someone help you while you stand in front of a mirror, and turn up just one leg of the jeans. You want to turn it up just to where you want the jeans to end up being, and then you can secure that with either a pin, or you can take some tailor's chalk and mark the hem. I also like to mark the hem in the front just so I know that I'm being consistent. Now I'm going to take any size ruler or straight edge, and I'm going to mark the back of both legs with that, with a piece of tailor's chalk. And we're doing this to ensure that we hem both legs to the same length, because everyone has two different lengths of legs. Now I'm just going to take my jeans and transfer them over to a cutting mat, and I'm going to fold them and smooth them out so that the inseams are touching and the outseams are faced towards the outside. Then I'm going to go back to those two marks I made at the back of the leg earlier with my ruler, and I want to line those up. Next, find the mark we made for the hem of the pants, and I'm just going to transfer it to both legs. And then you can use a ruler to make a straight line for the hem. Some people like the hem to be a little bit shorter in the front than the back, so there's not as much break or as much fabric in the front, but you can't slant it more than 1/4 of an inch, otherwise the hem will turn out all wobbly. So I like to slant my ruler about 1/4 of an inch and make it a little bit shorter in the front. Now I'm just drawing a line with my tailor's chalk, and this is marking the final hem line. I'm flipping over just one of the legs of the jean, and I'm keeping it tight against the ruler so I can make a straight line again between both legs. And I'm making sure the tailor's chalk comes in contact with both legs of the jean so it can mark both of them. Again, flipping the last leg of the jean over and then making another line. So this is what we have so far, but now we want to mark our cutting line. So I'm drawing a line 1.25 inches lower than the hem line, and this is where we'll cut, and the 1.25 inches will be our seam allowance. So now both legs of the jeans are cut, and a hemline is marked on each leg on both sides. Now it's time to sew the pants. So turn over the seam twice, and the hemline that we mark should be at the very edge. Since I'm working with jeans, I'm going to use a heavier weight thread or a jean thread, and I'm going to put that in the bobbin. But I'm going to thread my needle with regular all-purpose thread, and if you're not working with jeans, you don't have to worry about using a jean thread or a heavyweight thread at all. When you start sewing, make sure you start at the inseam and not the outseam, because since this part of the jean is not seen as much, you can hide your back stitching there. When you're sewing, make sure you're going slowly and carefully, just because this is a heavier weight material and you don't want to break a needle. When I get to the outseam, it is super bulky over there, and I don't want to just sew right over it using my foot pedal, because you'll definitely break a needle that way or jam your machine. So for this, I'm using my hand wheel to do one rotation, so one stitch, and then I'm lifting my presser foot, pulling the fabric a little bit through, and then continuing with the hand needle. And I repeat this process until I get over the outseam, and then I sew regularly. So this is what your hem will end up looking like. As you can see, our hemline is right there at the very edge where we wanted our hem to be. And then to get rid of this, you just want to use an iron and use steam and press away that hemline, and also just make your seam nice and flat. And this is the final result. So the second method I want to teach you is how to hem pants with stretch. So I marked these pants the same exact way as I marked the jeans. As you can see, these pants have stretch, so we need to hem them in a different way. Also, since these pants aren't quite as long as the jeans were, we don't have as much to hem. So I have it marked for the hemline the same exact way, but I can't cut 1.25 inches lower than that because the pants just aren't that long. So what we have to do is open up that original hem so that we can gain access to all that extra fabric. You can either use a seam ripper or I'm going to use a razor blade. If you use a razor blade to open up the hem, be very careful because once you accidentally make a hole, there's no going back and the pants are now ruined. On your sewing machine, you want to choose your blind hem stitch because this stitch is not only invisible, but it also stretches. So this is what it looks like on your machine. It has a zigzag stitch and one big zigzag stitch. And then I'm just going to widen and lengthen my stitch a bit. Now I'm going to explain to you how a blind stitch works. So you want to fold up the pant to the hemline, and we're going to end up pressing it right here before we do another fold. So you fold it up to the hemline, and then you pinch and you fold that like accordion style to the back, leaving a little bit of the raw edge exposed. When you end up sewing, the machine will sew a long little zigzag over just on the raw edge, and then it'll sew one big zigzag stitch to pick up some of that folded fabric, and it will repeat that process. It'll end up being an invisible stitch that you can't really see from the outside of the fabric. Now I'm just folding up the fabric on the hemline and pressing it so it's easier to sew. I'm using a blind hemming foot to line up my fabric and make it easier for me. However, you actually don't need to use a blind hemming foot if your machine doesn't come with one. I actually do that all the time. As you can see here, it's what I said earlier. It sews some small stitches and then one big stitch over to pick up some of that folded fabric. This is what it ends up looking like. You can't really see the stitches, and when you press it, those will also go away more. The hemline is at the very edge where we wanted the hem to be, and it's still able to stretch. So this is what it ends up looking like. So thank you guys so much for watching my video. Please like, subscribe, comment if you have any questions, any requests, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.